friends, today I had a lot of fun making some cards, filming the process for you, and I combined some new stamp sets from Stampin' Up with some watercoloring techniques. This is sort of like the full watercoloring technique along with an ink wicking technique. Lots of fun, lots of variations, and you can keep it as simple or stepped up as you like and add as few or as many colors as you wish. So in the video, I'll demonstrate a couple of cards in real time, and then I'll also show you some other cards that I made, and I'll speed up the process. I hope you have a lot of fun watching today's video and take away lots of great ideas that you can try at home. So without further ado, let's start stamping. Today's card is going to feature a new stamp set from our annual catalog, our new catalog. It's on page 68. It's the Sketched Butterfly stamp set. And I don't know what the heck, but for some reason, I didn't order this as a bundle. Had every intentions of getting the dies with this set. Somehow I didn't. So I don't have the dies, but I will be getting them because I'm going to be using these a lot, the dies and the stamps. Today's card though, just using the butterflies, and I'm really excited because this is a gorgeous stamp set and I've already been playing with it. I'll just show you some of the things. Here's a card here, different card here, just playing around, and then some different backgrounds, which I'll finish, you know, these projects another time, but just playing. That's also with our new swirl embossing folder, which is a huge embossing folder. Here's another one where I've been playing and cutting things out. Where's the cards? Let me see, I got more cards here. Here we go. So this is the technique that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. Here's another one that I did. This one. And then I even did one with the burger. Oh, and here's one where this didn't quite turn out, but I tried today's technique with the zinnia stamps, but I had too much water. So anyhow, I tried saving it, but you can see where I used the celebrate and that background. So these were all me experimenting. Very simple card here. Look at the cute stamps. This one's with Musical Jamboree. Oh my gosh, I could not wait to get that stamp set. But today we're going to be using this butterfly set, and as you can tell, I've been having a load of fun with this stamp set and with this technique. And like I said, I've been playing, experimenting. Some of them worked the way I wanted, some of them didn't, but you don't know till you play, and nothing will go to waste. I will use these up on other projects, but let's jump into the technique because you can use so many different stamps with this technique, and you do want to use watercolor cardstock. So this is our fluid cardstock from Stampin' Up. It measures 5 by 7, and I'm going to get 2 cards out of this because I'm going to cut this down at 3 3/4 along the 7-inch side, so that this piece measures 5 by 3 3/4, and this piece measures 3 1/4 by 5. So let's start with the bigger piece. And I need some paper towel, and I'm going to use our water painters, which of course have water in the barrel, but I'm also going to be using a dish of water because I just want to get lots of water on my paper kind of in one swoop. So I've got that, and I'm sticking with the new in colors, gang. You might be, no, you can't possibly be tired of me using our new in colors because everybody is loving them, and so many of you have been getting these in your starter kits for free this month with Stampin' Up, where you can get these ink pads and you can get the markers and the paper and the designer series paper from the 2024-2026 in colors. They're gorgeous. I'm smitten with them. This, I think, is like my 3rd video in a row using these colors. I really love them. I think they're awesome. Okay, let's stop talking, Tina, and start stamping. And by the way, I need to thank so many of you who have left comments on my last video because I was not feeling good at all. First time I've been sick in probably Well, Brian and I have been together 9 years, and I've never been sick, not even a cold, since we've been together. So this really knocked me off my feet, I can tell you. So yeah, I didn't have much voice when I filmed my last video, and what I did have as a voice was really not pretty sounding. And I think you can still hear it in my voice because I can, but it's not near as bad as it was. So thank you very much for your sweet, kind words and get well wishes. I really appreciate it. All right, as you can see, while I was jibber jabbering, I just took the wide water painter and I've just moistened my paper. Okay, it's not saturated. Now I'm going to take my butterfly and I'm going to ink it up with my peach pie, and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Spritzer, and I'm going to mist my stamp, and I'm going to stamp it right on top and let that water wick its way around the image. And this is not a super new technique, but it's a bit of a twist on an old technique. Let's put it that way. And I just think it's the coolest. And it reminds me of a technique that is one of my all-time most without a doubt, very favorite stamping techniques, where we use our chalks and you create kind of a messy background with like all your different colors with your chalks. After you stamp them, you stamp something really lightly, and then you take your chalks and go on top, and then you go back on top with the same stamp with the dark image, and it's like, wow. And I do have a video for that. And I forget what that technique is called right now, but this, I realized when I was playing around with this technique the other day, is very similar to that, which is probably why I'm so loving this. But we're using ink pads instead of chalks. So you see what happened? See how that water just wicked everywhere? That's what you want. That is what you want. So I'm going to dry this. So we got our really pretty peach pie background. Now I'm going to do sort of the same thing in the next step, but I'm going to omit the part of wetting the paper. So instead of wet on wet, I'm going to do wet on dry. That's my technical term today. So I've inked up this butterfly with my Pretty in Pink. I'm going to mist it with my water and stamp it on my dry watercolor paper. Okay, just eyeball it. And then I'm just going to let that ink and water kind of wick in different directions. Lift it off. And because the paper wasn't wet first, you get more of the detail of your image, right? Super cool. Let's heat that up. Okay, I'm going to clean my stamp with my paper towel because I'm going to be using my paper towel, right, for different techniques and cards. Okay, now what are we going to do? Now we're going to do Petunia Pop, but this time I'm going to bring in my marker and just put some Petunia Pop marker here and there, not over the entire image. Mist. Hold that thought. I'm going to also bring in some Summer Splash. And we'll put some Summer Splash in there too. Just a little bit here and there. Why not? And I'm trying to, what I do on one side, I'm trying to do on the other side. And it doesn't have to be exact because we're going to mist it with water. So it's all going to flow around anyways. Okay. Mist, mist, mist. Stamp it down. Let it wick around on the paper. Let's see what happens. Look it. Oh my gosh. Okay, gonna dry that. What a fun technique, just like that, for backgrounds for your mixed media and your journals, and like, right, you can just stamp a sentiment right on top of that. Now, some people, this might not be your thing. Others would maybe love this. I love this. Love this. Okay, I want to clean my stamp. I'm just going to use some water and that paper towel again. You don't want to add so much water to your stamp that A, your stamp is going to fall off your block, or B, that you get too much water between that red rubber and your foam, because that would not be good. Because then it might peel apart and you don't want that. Alright, the next step, and you want to make sure for this step that your paper is very dry, which this is. I'm going to bring in my black StazOn, and I re-inked this morning, so it's a really well-inked ink pad. And this is where we're going to get the definition back into our image. Okay, I'm quite excited. Alright. I'm eyeballing it, and I'm just gonna push it down. I'm not wiggling it, because if you wiggle your stamps, you're gonna get ink where you don't want it. Okay, I just want that ink to really absorb into the paper, and then let's see. Shazam! Look at that, and all those beautiful colors. And where that water wicked out with the yellow, or the peach pie I should say, and then I got all the different other layers of color in there. Like, isn't that fun? I think that is very, very fun. Okay, let me clean this stamp. Got my StazOn cleaner, because this is a permanent ink. And you can use your Stampin' Scrub, your Simply chamois. I'm just using an old rag. Get that black off. Okay, we're done with this stamp. Oh my gosh, I just love that. What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Because, you know, my videos are never rehearsed. I always stamp on the fly and see what I come up with. So, let's have some tea. I know I'm going to want splatters on that. I can tell you that for free. So let's pull in. I want to use all the colors in these in colors. So the only one I haven't used yet is the Shy Shamrock. So let's grab some leaves. I'm going to use the textured floral, and we'll start with this one right here, Shy Shamrock. Now, I'm not going to want to get a ton of water around this, because then I'm going to lose what we just did, right? But what I am going to do is take my dish of water here, and I'm just going to kind of brush on a little bit of water here, a little bit here, a teeny bit up here, okay? And I'm going to mist my stamp. Do it so you can see it. Okay, I'm going to mist it. And I'm going to stamp here. Let that ink kind of wick around. See? So cool. And I can probably mist and get some more images. We'll do one here. You can see how that ink wicked with the water, right? Just kind of spread, and you get that really cool texture. Love it. Now I'm going to ink this, and I'm not going to use water. I'm going to go directly on top so I get more definition. I'm just going to go around here. Really, really pretty. And I think since I have this beautiful stamp set out, we'll use some flowers too. Let's have some fun. let's use this flower right here. So I'm using this one. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the butterfly. Maybe I'll just stick with the same colors. Why not? Why not? Okay, so I'm going to get that ready with my peach pie. And get some water on my paper, because remember, the first layer is wet on wet. Careful not to touch my leaves because I don't want to muck up what I've done. And then mist my stamp, and we'll just stamp it right there. Let that ink wick around the image. Lift it up. Get that excess water and ink off, and I'm going to do another one right here. And now I'm going to dry it. Pretty in pink. And this is now wet on dry, so mist that, stamp it down. And of course, this image doesn't have a whole lot of definition, right, on the flowers, not like the butterfly. And that's fine, because it's just going to add a pretty floral background. Let's just do this end. Oops. Okay. Try that. Try something kind of radical. Instead of going back on top of this with the same image, I'm going to use this image, which is an entirely different flower, which I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but that's what I'm going to do, because you don't know until you try. So we'll use the ink pad for this. We're using Petunia Pop. And I'm not going to add water. I'm just going to stamp it down. I love playing with stamps. You just never know what you're going to get. Do another one here. And I'm going to take this image now, and I'm going to use that with my Summer Splash because I really love that blue, and I want some on there. Now then, I am going to mist this to keep it that watercolor look we got going on. Just gonna stamp it right here. Stamp a little bit here, a little bit there, and there. I'm going to use the same ink pad, but no water this time. Go right on top. See? So you start getting more of that definition. Just fun. Fun, fun, fun. So I'm going to bring in this image next, and let's see. Let's grab Pretty in Pink. Add some of that to this. So I'm going to ink that up, spritz it, and we'll just stamp a little bit there. Ink and spritz. Stamp right on top there. It just fills it in really nicely. do a bit here. And just a tiny bit. Right here. I'm going to bring in this stamp to stamp in the center of my flowers. And I am going to use, I'll stick with the black. We'll use black. I'll just use Memento because it is photopolymer, which works. Memento much happier with photopolymer than StazOn is. So I'm just going to stamp that there. Stamp another one here. And here. Okay, and now we need early espresso. So stamp that there. I could have stamped that a bit darker, but that's okay. Well, okay, we'll stamp it again, see what happens. Let's do it like that. Now, I find those lines are a little bit too harsh, so I'm going to take my water painter and my water, and I'm just going to kind of tap on those just to blend those out a bit, because I'm not liking them. I'm going to pick some of that up, just tone that down. Watercoloring and water paper, I think, is just so magical. Look at that. Just tones it right down. I'm just kind of picking up that ink a bit. Okay, that's fine. Just because they look like a bunch of ants on my card now, I'm not gonna worry about it. Don't worry, be happy. I can put a sentiment around that and fix it. So the next thing I'm gonna do is take my, we'll use my StazOn, and I'm just gonna go around the edge of this and get it ready to put it on a card base with a sentiment and call it done. I have decided to mount this on some Summer Splash, and I'm going to glue that on. So this measures 4 by 5 1/4. To use a Petunia Pop card base. Sentiment. I've decided I want to emboss You Brighten Up So Many of My Days. I'm going to emboss this in white, so I'm going to stamp it. Will that fit? Yes, it will. So I'm going to stamp it on my black cardstock. Pretty. All right. Wink of Stella. Come hither, Wink of Stella. Let's add a little bit of shimmer. So I'm just gonna add a little bit to the wings. This is getting empty, and I did get a new one, but I'm gonna squeeze out every little bit of glitter from this Wink of Stella before I open the new one. Can you guys see the sparkle? I hope so, because it's really pretty. I miss her glitter, not gonna lie, but that sparkle is very, very pretty. Alright, now we're gonna do one more with the bit that I cut off, that 5 by 7, and we're going to do the same wicking technique. can leave it with the one color, or you can do multicolors like I'm doing because I can't stop and I'm having fun. But you could totally just leave it one color, which is what I did on the card with my little singing coyote. I just did the one color, let it dry, and then I just stamped. And I did the same thing for the sentiment and added some cool Designer Series paper, which is also new. Simple. I love it. Never underestimate simple. But it's Saturday and I feel like stamping and having fun, and I just can't stop. So we're gonna do the next color. Now this ink is still kind of doing its magic because there's still water on there, right? So if I zapped it with the heat tool right away, it's gonna obviously stop spreading, stop wicking into the water. So I just want to make sure that I'm happy with it like it is. Otherwise I would leave it. But I'm gonna dry it so I can move on to the next step. Okay, so I've got this inked with my Pretty in Pink, which wasn't that a movie growing up when I was like in the 80s? Pretty in Pink, I'm sure it was. Molly Ringwald? Am I dating myself? So I wish I had more water on that because it's not really moving and I want more movement. So I'm gonna actually just spritz this. Oh my god, getting wild and crazy. Spritz. Let that water move around a little bit. And while that's moving around a little bit, I'm going to take my Petunia Pop marker, add some onto this guy, maybe a little bit here, a little bit here, and then I'm going to add some Summer Splash. A nice way to spend a weekend. My sweetheart is off doing a course this morning, and I am making a video for my friends and creating and having fun. Okay, I'm going to dry this and mist where I have put my markers. And I think I need to fill up my misting bottle. And of course, how much you mist, how much water you put it on, it's going to make all the difference, right? So definitely play around and see what kind of effect you like best, depending on how much water you use, how much ink you use. Clean that off and dry it. Okay, now before I do the last step where I add the definition back to the butterflies, I'm going to pull in my early espresso again, which is missing. Here it is, right here. And I'm going to add some splatters. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm just going to go along the edge of my ink pad and just pick up a little bit and just splatter. Just a bit. Remember, always better to add a little. You can go back in, which I'm going to do. Do a little bit more up here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so pretty. Okay. Now, we're going to ink this with our StazOn. Okay. This part's so magical. Because you never know what it's going to look like till you do this last step. Oh, looky. Oh my gosh, I love it. Now, if you wanted your stamps to line up perfectly, you're going to need a stamp positioner tool, like our Stamparatus that we used to sell, or if you have a different stamp positioning tool, you can totally use that and you will be able to line up your stamps perfectly, and that will look super cool as well. But I think this looks really awesome. Let's make a card out of that. Had a lot of fun stamping on this kind of gloomy, rainy Saturday and just playing with this really fun technique. And as you can probably tell, you can really just keep it simple, add more colors, use less colors, and yeah, just let your creativity go to town. But I love how that ink looks behind the detailed stamping. I think it's so much fun. So let me again show you some of the other cards that I've done. This was very simple, very basic. Again, I showed this earlier, just using peach pie and stamping my image on with Early Espresso. So you can keep it really quick and easy. Here's another one where I just kind of kept playing and adding color and having the wicking with the peach pie and the pretty in pink. And this one I kind of just did a little bit of a different wash. I popped up my wings because this one was not speaking to me. I was not loving this card, so I just kind of kept playing with it and added the wings for the dimension and popped up the body. And anyways, that's what I ended up with, and it was a lot of fun. And I really again love how those colors blend into each other. And look at this one. These two actually I love how this ink wicking turned out on this one, and I used Early Espresso instead of the black StazOn on these two cards. And then I played with my burger. This is the Bistro Burger stamp set, and I have the dies for that. But again, just playing around, but I was able to get some of the green and the red for the lettuce and tomato and some orange for the cheese. So that was just playing around using this with a totally different style of stamps. And I stamped the sentiment also using the wicking technique, but I didn't like how the sentiment looked. So I just cut it on some scrap basic white and just glued these ones on and popped this one up. This is a grad card. That's why I've got 2024. I know someone who loves burgers and who's graduating, so this is going to be for him. I am really happy with the cards that I'm sharing with you today and that I created with you today. Lots of fun. So I hope you give this fun technique a try. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Take care and happy stamping.